Live. It's
That,
alive.
that man definitely looks like he knows the discussion about Chicago pizza.
He does.
You're on.
I have strong opinions on that.
And you're on.
Hi, I am Gene Ha, multiple Eisner Award-winning artist of Top 10 with Alan Moore, Wonder Woman Historia with Kelly Sue DeConnick, Phil Jimenez, and Nicola Scott, and also creator of May. I wrote and drew that. And you are on Splash Pages Comic Book Club, and by being here, you are a member.
Wonderful.
So the only thing left to say, of course, is the one obvious thing.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an amazing show scheduled for you, an incredible guest, but, without further ado, let's get right into it. Kari, how's it going?
It's going really good, Leo. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hey, Tom Dog, how's it going out there? I see you got some more people tuning in. Have your questions ready because we do have an incredible guest tonight. I'm drinking tonight. Red Husker's got out the Maker's Mark because it's a special night. And we also have an incredible guest host with us again. Let's go over and see how she is doing. Miss Mahana?
Hello. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, thanks for joining us. And Drew.
Where? Oh, right. And it's me. Okay, hold on a second. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Splash Pages. We're very excited to be here. We've got a great guest. We've got some great hosts. We've got comics. We've got news. We've got Kickstarters. And it's Tuesday, which means it's still far away from Friday, but definitely not Monday. So we're doing so good so far. Our guest needs no introduction because he did a really great job introducing himself before, but I'll do my best. DC, if you've seen his work, you recognize it. His covers are immaculate wherever they pop up. I myself know him from his work within the Starman's related series and such. But he's extremely well known for a lot of his creator stuff. We're going to talk about his creator-owned book, May. We're going to talk about his work with the the legendary Alan Moore with Top 10, and then of course the award-winning Wonder Woman Historia that he did with Kelly Sue DeConnick, Phil Jimenez, and Nicholas Scott, among other things that he's done. He's so nice in person and so polite and well-spoken that I had to really think that if I probably looked over this monologue, I probably would have edited it down just so it would have got his approval. But the one, the only, the extremely likable Mr. Gene Ha.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be a member.
Oh,
Yeah.
glad to have you.
Yeah. No, it was the most informally complimentary intro we've had in a while. So thank you. It was very official. So Gene, thank you for joining us. And it's different seeing you this way instead of at a convention. Where you're just drawing majesty. I felt bad interrupting you whenever we saw you at Terrificon last. I was like, whatever he's working on is amazing. And I just felt so bad. I was like, are you good? Is this a good time? And you're like, no, later. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I do try to do fewer fancy polished sketches at conventions now, so I actually have more time to talk to people, because I realize it's kind of like, if I'm sitting at home alone anyway, I might as well do a pre-show commission instead of spending the whole convention. That's what's the point?
I mean, listen, I remember seeing you, like, you were working on for quite a while. I think you were doing like a Kingdom Come Wonder Woman for, I think it was one of your helpers. And I just saw that and I was like, oh man, that is stunning. And she had no idea. She was like, oh yeah, this is for you, for your helping out. And I was like, what a prize. Like,
That was
girl.
I would have lost my mind. Are you kidding me?
I just seeing it, my mind shattered a little bit, like a shard disappeared somewhere. Just shattered.
I will say that level of sketch is not a polished sketch. That's a relatively quick sketch. So,
Gene, you have to understand, your relatively quick sketch is by far better than my best sketch any day. So, whatever it is, wonderful.
Well, before we leave that subject, how many commissions do you try to do during a weekend at a con?
I'll try. If I have time to do it, and I'm not doing a lot of interior pages, I'll try to do like 5 or 6 pre-show commissions for a convention, and those will be very polished. I want them to be nice enough so I wouldn't feel bad if they showed up on a comic book cover.
Fair enough.
But while I'm at the convention, I try to focus on quick sketches, which either are for charity or free sketches for either kids or somebody who needs, like, just somebody who looks like they need to have a nicer day. So, that type of thing. But those are pretty quick.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
That is so lovely.
yeah. And the pre-show commissions, like, how do people ask for those? Like,
handlers.
Actually,
usually, sometimes.
If you find out I'm at a convention, or if you don't know I'm at a convention, you think I might be there, you can email me at any point and just write to sketch@geneha.com and say, can I get on the list for that show?
Sweet.
And I don't ask for prepayment. I ask to be paid at the show because there's a risk I won't get the sketch done, and then I don't want to have to go through all the hassle of that. Like, yeah, there's also an online sketch commission thing, but there's no deadline on those, and I also don't take cash beforehand. And there's some very, very patient guy in Canada who asked for a beautiful watercolor sketch of Kaneda, and I can't remember the female character's name from Kaneda, who was the secret agent. But yeah, and I have it all penciled out. But months ago, like 7 months ago or so, I had to stop work on it because I had so many interior pages to do.
Right.
But I didn't ask for prepayment, so I don't feel too bad. Because if I had, it would just be like, I am really screwing this guy over. I have destroyed his Christmas.
Yeah.
You'd be the Grinch.
Yeah.
No.
But there are horror stories of other people, artists who very recently ask for prepayment, but then they'll go years until they get it done.
Yeah.
And frankly, at that point, they might not even want the sketch anymore.
Yep.
So that's not really fair. That doesn't feel fair to me.
Yeah.
I'm part of a few of those communities, Gene, and I've read those stories, and it's tough. It's tough.
I literally did that. That actually happened to me before years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a bit rough. I mean, it was not a huge amount, but I much would have rather have the money back. I much would have rather had the art back.
Yeah.
Right. So speaking of artwork, Gene, because when we interviewed you at Terrificon, we talked a little bit about your origins, your early work that you did. I believe it was with DC. And, if anything, I'm kind of curious to, oh, nice. How did it,
Hi, Justin.
like, hey, Justin, how did it start? Like as a kid, were you a fan of comics? Did you have any favorites, or was there that one comic that was like, this is what I want to do?
The first artist where I totally went just bonkers because I love the artwork so much was early 70s, anything by Mike Grell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he did an early
Nice.
run on the Legion of Superheroes.
Mhm.
Then he did some Green Lantern work, and I
Killed
just, yeah,
Killed
I
it.
never seen anything like that before.
That was
And I
Right.
just fell in love with it. Then later on, I discovered artists like, I'll say, John Byrne, Frank Miller, and then the one who is still one of the biggest influences on me today, because he keeps on getting better as fast as I get better, as I get older. So
Mhm.
Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Bill's amazing. And and have you get a chance to meet, I mean, you've been at the cons for quite a while, so have you got a chance to meet these people and fanboy out yourself?
Yeah. Actually, I've never really met John Byrne.
Yeah.
I have met Frank Miller twice, but we've never had a real conversation. There's a funny story there, but yeah.
Oh, please.
Okay, but I have met Bill Sienkiewicz. I'm focused on there's a hilarious misunderstanding with the Frank Miller one, where it's
Mhm.
like, but so I've still never had a real conversation with him, but I've had something where he thought I said something rude, and then he said something rude back.
Oh, wow.
But I've met Bill Sienkiewicz and had long conversations with him and hung out with him a few times, and he is perfectly delightful.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he is just, when you talk about him, he's a sweet guy. He's just so kind, sweet, patient with everybody, so encouraging to younger artists. I'm kind of amazed when, like, I'll go to, say, a Facebook friend who's a very accomplished artist, but who's not really making a living in art, but really good and putting out comic arts on the side. And there'll be a little encouraging comment from Bill Sienkiewicz on Facebook saying, "You are doing amazing work."
Oh,
And
wow.
it's just like, he's just like that. And that's how he treats me too, exactly the same way. I'm just like, you're getting better, Gene. Keep at it. And it's like, and I know that's as meaningful to them, to the younger artists, as it is to me.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. No, absolutely. I can only imagine. It's funny because we've had so many great guests, and a lot of them have that similar pep talk of these people in the industry who are giving some support. And it's just funny because I think what was it? We had one of your former collaborators, Mark Wade, on the show, and we just had like this ongoing back and forth between him and Dean Haspiel. And it was just so great. We're just sitting here and they're just hyping each other up. And I was like, is anybody else feeling good? Does anyone I feel like I wish this was in person and just give high fives all around. Just positive energy. It was just so happy. And I was just like, comics, the things that no one will believe that actually happened, and it did.
Mark and Dean are both so kind and just funny guys too.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say, I love guys like the most legendary of those guys is Howard Chaykin. People,
yeah.
as long as you know who he is, when he says I don't
Yes.
approve of what you're doing, it's kind of like he doesn't approve of anything superhero. So and he hasn't said that to me, but I've just seen so many instances of him saying horrible things. But also, it's so Howard Chaykin, and I adore his art, and I love him as a person. And I'm glad he's there saying horrible things to everybody. He's not singling anybody out. And he's being honest.
Oh my! It's so funny you say that because Kari can back me up on this. There was we recorded a panel at Terrificon, and apparently, Kari, do you want to take this one? It wasn't the first 20
Yeah.
minutes, he's like, okay, wait a second. This is all the shit that's wrong in comics. Am I
Oh
wrong,
no,
Kari?
that's like the whole panel. No, he showed up and the Boy Scouts escorted him there, and it was with Monty Keene, and Monty was late because he didn't know how to get to the room, and nobody showed up to take him. And Leo, you still have to check because I put on like I started recording when he started going off because it was like a bunch of B footage going on, and Howard was just like, fuck this, fuck, like just trash talking
Ooh.
everybody, walking around and doing stuff. And it was supposed to be a comparison of like old school versus new school. And Dean was also like sitting right behind me in the crowd. And Howard's like, we're going to switch this up. We're going to talk about, he changed the whole panel basically to be about how in the hell anybody who's just breaking into comics is ever going to make any money. Because he's like, I'm terribly worried for you all because and but he approaches Monty and he's just like, he said all these things. He was like, yeah, he's gonna be here late. Everybody's gonna think he's a terrorist because of his race and stuff. And he was just like, he's like, they tried to hold you up, didn't they? With like customs or something. They're gonna help. And it was just hysterical the way he was going off on people. But he'd be like, yeah, does anybody know me for anything but Star Wars? Raise your hand. Huh? No? Oh, yeah. That's why the industry's going off.
I do.
But so I was terrified of Howard Chaykin because I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to say anything wrong and I'm recording this, so I'm just trying to like stay out. But he did give this great thing about like, like Marty, however, was like, well, because he's like, you're never going to be able to support yourself making comic books. And he's like, actually, I am already, but and he's like, are you living well? He's like, I'm surviving. And he's like, that's the thing. You aren't going to make the money if things continue the way they are. And Dean had some great stuff to say. So it was like, there's lots of positivity. But like you're saying with Howard Chaykin, he doesn't like anybody or anything in particular. So it was a very oddly funny, hostile environment to be in.
Those are words I never thought would be in the same sentence. Never mind, brought next to one another.
So
absolutely.
But I know I shouldn't be. Yeah, I know I shouldn't really be scared of him because that's just how he is. But it totally, I was not expecting that. I've never seen the man speak before, so I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And some of the people who were there mentioned on the panel, like that we put up, they were like, yeah, if you got any of the stuff before the panel actually started, that would be great to see because that was just pure gold. And I was like, I tried.
And Kari's telling me all this. I was like, I've met Howard and I've given him something that wasn't Star Wars, and he was so thrilled. And I was like, thank you for signing it. I appreciate it. I told him, I was like, I love this Batman Houdini Elseworld you did with Mark Chiarello. I was like, this is amazing. It's two of my favorite characters of all time. And he was like, oh yeah, it was really fun to write. And we had like 20-minute conversation about it. And I was like, thank you. He was like, it was just, but Howard is an old soul of comics. Just that don't give a fuck, say whatever they want.
He's a beautiful curmudgeon.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
That is the best way to describe him. He is just a wonderful, hilarious curmudgeon. But we'll have to tell him that when we have him on in the future, hopefully. But we have you, so back to Gene. Hello, Gene.
Yes.
So, I mean, again, Gene, like I said, and I had the pleasure of meeting you originally back in 2020, pre-plague, for C2E2, where again, thank you. I as you can tell, big Starman fan. I had all the Starman things you did, and I was like, "Can you please sign?" You're like, "Oh yeah, sure." And I was like, "What wonderful! What of us?" I don't know if any of you know this. Gene's is just his last name, but it's so tastefully drawn, so you'd almost miss the ha. And I was like, oh, it's right there. He signed it. But seriously, was my introduction to you. Everything else I had discovered because having met you was like, oh, he did this stuff. I should read that. It's amazing. Of course it is. Why not? But Starman and in Wichita Class Act, I mean, I've met James Robinson as well, and he is just such a delight. And your collaboration with him, I mean, I got Kari hooked on Starman as well, and I mean, you're drawing the shades, both his origin and everything, plus the occasional times past. I mean, what great work, man! Just again, such compliments. You adding to that rich tapestry of Starman. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I feel really lucky that relatively early in my career I got to work with James. And I remember when I got the first Times Past origin story. Well, I got this issue 1 of the 90s Shade series, which I got to do, which had the beginning of the second part of his origin, which got finished off decades later when I did the last issue of the Aughts Shade series. It's very weird trying to describe these accurately.
Yes.
But this is a pre-email. He sent me a pile this thick of reference he'd scanned of what London looked like at the time of the story.
Wow.
And he just, when you're in London, there's a lot, it's much easier to find reference books on what London looked like back then. And he just tracked it all down for me. And that's part of the reason why the story looked the way it did. It's just, I had all this amazing stuff I could use.
Our lovely Brit over here can confirm all of this.
I can no, literally. I didn't probably remember because you were quite busy. I met you at Terrificon. I just want to say you were fantastic then, and it was truly brilliant. And yes, as someone from the UK, I really appreciate the representation, the background, and it's like, oh, I know what that is, and it's great. It was wonderful.
Yeah. In the representation of the mansion of the evil, murderous British family, I based it on the interiors, on specific interiors of the halls of Parliament.
Of course you did.
Oh, nice! Wow. No,
that's lovely. That's lovely. I saw that. I'm like, if I ever see that man, I'm going to ask him. And then this is crazy. So you just confirmed. So now you just actually helped me win $20. I bet
nice.
You just literally helped me with a bet.
Well, no, but yeah, but then I will say this, Gene. I never I'd read Top 10 ages ago, and I read that, and then the 49ers that you did a couple of years later with Alan. But I had never read May until you had sent us the link. And I mean, I blew through the whole thing in like 2 days. I mean, that was just great. And I mean, and it's funny, and I will say this, I'm not the biggest, I have trouble getting into fantasy. I think my brain is so science fiction wired that magic, I'm just like, so unexplained science. And I'm like, no, magic. I'm like, can you explain it? I feel like I'm hitting a wall here. The way you just went over everything was absolutely fantastic. That tying in this entire world, it's fantasy, but it's got steam elements, steampunk, everything with this fantastic relationship between the siblings and just such great side characters. I just need to say, like, this is absolutely fantastic, and I thoroughly am going to recommend this to more people because I want to help you make more money. Because then we can get more of May. Because it was just absolutely fantastic, and I just how did this come up, man? Because I know you were the driving force. You wrote and drew a nice chunk of it, pretty much most of it.
Yeah, there's a few guest issues. Yeah. There's 2 guest issues I did not write, and a few supplemental short stories I didn't write. So Mark Waid and comics retailer and journalist Molly Jane Kramer each wrote an issue. Nice. But yeah, the rest of it I wrote. There's one issue that had a guest artist.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 chapter. But other than that, it's mostly me, again, except for the short stories and the pinups.
Hey, Jar.
Yeah. Hey, Jar. But no. It was, like I said, I loved all of it. And it's funny because I think one of my favorites was the movie theater. And then I think that's Mark Waid. And I was reading the thing, and the pop culture references were fantastic. I mean, you had Back to the Future, Doctor Who. I'm sure I'm missing some.
Right there on the scene you have on the screen. So I have a Slavic language and culture professor from the University of Chicago who was helping me out.
Right.
And that movie poster you see on the upper left of that page, that's her translation of Squirrel Girl.
Wow. That is...
And then there's a squirrel behind her through behind the glass of the window.
Mm-hmm. Because I see
That-
tippy toes. I see tiptoes right there. And then
Oh wow,
Yeah.
it's so funny because I actually cosplayed Squirrel Girl a few years ago.
she did.
I
And-
did.
Also, there's another poster you can't quite see as much of, but you'll see that the writer of that on the upper left of that page is something Sue DeCut.
Oh,
And then it's a woman with a kind of a blue jacket and then red gloves going like this, which is a kind of famous cover for a Marvel series by
yes,
Kelly Sue DeConnick.
of course.
It's Capitan.
Marvel.
Yeah. And you
Wonderful.
also see, David Lopez, who was an artist on that series.
Oh wow, yeah. I gotta
Ellie
start.
Pyle,
paying
the
more
editor.
attention. Very nice.
Oh
Lee,
yeah,
are
Noel
you-
Moss, who was
Oh,
editing
nice.
Squirrel Girl at the time.
Nice. Lee, are you zooming?
Yes.
Okay, I was like, I think scroll down, Leo.
Well,
No,
he was.
it's up in the.
Yeah.
Oh, never
Yeah.
mind.
Yep.
That one right there.
Yeah.
Oh, Leo, can you show the movie theater for a second?
Yeah.
Because that was one of my favorites, and I had a question about that, Gene. This was fantastic art. Because I know that sometimes artists put, especially depending on time eras or if they have the space, they put like historical figures or friends or anything. Are there any famous people in this movie theater watching the movie?
They're famous to a very specific crowd. It's almost like 80% of the crowd. Well, 20% of the crowd are just anonymous faces. 80% are either friends who are comic shop retailers, comic shop owners, or librarians.
Wow, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
that's
That's brilliant. That's lovely. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you, Leo. Also, another thing I just want to bring up is I'm also a huge H.G. Wells fan. The Time Machine was one of my first books of his that I read, and it's still my favorite. So you referencing that in this world, I was like, oh God, yes. I was like, War of the Worlds, my heart right now. Like, thank you. So I just wanted to say that was just a fantastic thing that I wish more people referenced.
Oh, thank you.
So
I should mention that. Okay, so May is about two sisters who, first the older sister has adventures on another world, like a fantasy world like Oz or Narnia, then comes back, brings chaos back with her from the other world. Their dad disappears, and then both sisters have to adventure in the other world to find out what happened to their dad. And this other world, for the most part, has lost contact with Earth since 1910 or so. So they have all this technology and science from Earth up to that point, and then they got cut off. And science went in a different direction of that world. So they will have H.G. Wells novels and things like that, but they won't have, like quantum theory. They never quite got quantum theory, like quantum physics.
Hey, listen, I was still dealing with it that you had, I think it was May, was fangirling out about graphic novels on this other world, which I'm just like, yo, I'm done. I think I think it was that, and then was it Pasha, the little fuzzy sidekick?
He's the Bat Face. I called him Bat Ninja for the longest time until, as a guest writer, Molly Jane Kramer said his name is Pasha. And it's like,
Pasha.
I didn't even know the Bat Ninja's gender. I was like, he's male. His name is Pasha. And it's like, okay, there you go.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's just, like I said, there was just so much to really love. Like little moments there that were just fantastic. Like I said, just May was just fantastic. Just in my opinion. Again, I'm rambling. So MJ, Kari, even Leo, if you want to chat. But yeah, go Kari.
Oh, I was going to jump back a little bit when we were talking about the shade. Later on, when we go into our crowdfunding section at the end of the show, I actually have a project that I'm going to be opening that I got from Joe St. Pierre, and for his new Zodiacs thing, Pisces, and I got one of the headshots and had him draw me as a combination, like draw me as the Shade. So I supplied him with the artwork he did from the Shade series to have me as it.
I feel like Kari, you can't just build it up, and I feel like you kind of need to show him now because I feel like he's gonna be like, "Oh, I have
I'm
to."
really curious.
Yeah,
Would you like to
Kari.
see? Okay, well,
Show
we'll
him.
open up the rest of it there, but I gotta.
Yeah, show him, Kari. It's really fucking cool. Like, I was a little jelly having seen this, and I'm a Starman. You know.
I got the foil, the foil cover. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Well, Joe's a friend of the show, so
Yeah,
naturally he's gonna spoil us a little.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Come on, Kari. Yeah.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, you put it really nice.
You know what?
See,
Storytellers were building suspense.
Oh yeah. Oh, Kari knows how to build suspense. Go for it.
Oh,
Leo,
wow.
full page that.
Oh, that's
Full page that one, Leo. Wow, that is beautiful. He captured your curls perfectly.
And he got I went with the fake glasses and everything. I think he did a really good job. I'm excited about that. So
new goals.
Yeah, so it's like this circle kind of thing. It's got the Joseph here. It's got a bit of you. It's got a bit of me in it drawn on.
Yeah. No, it's
yeah. That looks like the beautiful cover to an incredible 60s psychedelic rock album.
Whoa, yeah, totally.
It does. Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah. But okay, so I have a question, Gene. What is it like when you find something you've worked on, regardless of what it is, it's not only nominated, but what's it like when you win an award? Do you is it surreal? Like, what is it like when oh, you win an Eisner? You're like, oh, I'm award winning. Like, I'm still me.
There's an important the things I get nominated for versus the things I win.
Right.
I've always the Eisners I've won have always been for the title, for the book.
Mm.
So the whole team wins. Every time I get nominated for best artist, I never win. So therefore, I win as a member of a championship team. I'm not winning MVP, and I'm not winning like a boxing, world championship. I am a team member on an incredible team, and that's the way I kind of look at it. I am a very solid team member to add to almost any comic book.
You're the winner in our hearts, buddy.
Yeah. Once the people vote to give me a best artist award, then I'm just going to be insufferable.
The prices will suddenly skyrocket.
I don't need you'll be like, now. I'm the star.
Can you imagine? You'll be like, you think I'm annoying now? You just wait.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit on that note, Gene. Being a creative of your caliber, I do a little creative work myself, and I'm just wondering, like, after you do some work and you go back to it, like, a lot of creatives, they think, oh, that was crap, I could have done that better. Do you still have those times where you look at something and go, oh, you know what, I should have done this?
Every minute of working on Wonder Woman Historia, I've followed after Phil Jimenez.
Oh God, yeah.
And seeing what he did is kind of like, it's like before I saw what he was doing on, I thought, we're of comparable talent, of comparable age, of comparable sensibilities. I'm a very natural artist to follow him on a book and do something very similar to what he did on the first chapter. And then I saw the art and it's kind of like, I can't do that. And I had part of it was like, I need to keep on inventing tricks to make up the fact that I can't do what Phil's doing on this book. He has stepped up so many levels.
Wow. Yeah.
How many levels of panic did that add?
Well, I mean, again, I like to be a good team player, so it's like I thought I'm going to go in as the twin star striker, home run hitter or whatever of this team. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, you're doing what now? You're like knocking in 5 home runs and also like,
Yes.
yeah, doing a backflip kick into the goal 3 times per game. Okay,
you're
I
like,
can't do that.
I can't do that. I don't know.
But I will kick the ball to you when you do that.
Listen.
To answer your question out there, Jar Jar, it's because Leo is a cat.
Oh.
Leo's a cat.
The cat Leo. That never gets old.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We put him in a box sometimes. Sometimes he turns into a cat.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I did turn up my mic volume, so hopefully that helps.
It's okay, Leo. It's fine.
Now,
Is it Mogwai?
Leo, can you say for the mic one more time? Perfect. We can hear you fine, buddy. Get out the saucer of milk.
awesome.
You're fine.
Okay. Now, Gene, is there a character you haven't worked on that you would love to?
It's my thing is, I mean, I do love a lot of characters, but the thing that really inspires me, and you'll kind of see this in the projects I choose, I like to work with great writers. So it's always writers I think, oh, I would love to work with that writer someday. So let me see. Oh man. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, like, one, I almost had a project start up a few years ago with a writer, and then it, for various reasons beyond our control, it fell apart. So a writer I would really like to work with someday is Kami Garcia.
Nice.
And just her talking about comics and how she writes the comics and the way she designs the page and all that as the writer was so different from anything I'd heard before. I was just like, oh, this is kind of revolutionary for me. And like an example of how groundbreaking she is to superhero comics.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at her Teen Titans YA graphic novel she's done,
right,
that's the successor to a long series of DC and Marvel projects where they thought, we're going to finally bring kids back into comics, and we're going to do it with the Ultimates line, which then abandoned that idea and then became the super adult line.
Right.
Yeah, or DC doing their Earth 1 series, which is all we have to do to bring the teens into the series is take the same old stories, but make the superheroes teenagers. And as long as you just make them teenagers, that's all we need to do to make a YA graphic novel.
I hate that so much. I detest that. If you can't, if you have lazy writing, the whole thing, no amount of fantastic artwork is going to save it.
Yeah. They were fine stories, but they just didn't understand the YA market, and I didn't either.
About specifically, I'm talking about the general. A lot of people are on that trend.
Oh, okay.
And they don't always. No, this was done well, but they aren't always done well.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then look at what Kami Garcia did on the Teen Titans series, and
true.
And all those previous projects, it was always, I'm a teenager, I find out I have powers, some supervillain with tights is threatening the world. So I'm going to put on tights and fight this supervillain. And that's the plot of every one of these stories, which is what I would have done too, because I grew up reading, teenage Peter Parker and stuff like that.
And that's a very teenage thing to do.
Yeah. And Kami Garcia was just like, she wrote stories about, I'm a teenager, I have problems. And the focus of my life is still going to be those problems. It's not going to be suddenly someone with in tights trying to destroy the world or my city or whatever, or hold my parents, kidnap my parents. It's them dealing with their actual normal problems, or sometimes like with Raven, slightly supernatural, but still it's just a heightened version of normal teenage problems, but with voodoo demons and stuff inside of it. And they're just brilliant stories. And no one had thought of it before inside of DC or Marvel until Kami Garcia explained to Dan DiDio, here's what we need to do that you've never done before with any of these attempts to reach teen readers since the 1960s.
Wow.
That would be a fun collaboration. I want to see you two working together because
I agree.
Yeah, you have good storytelling and you have a great storytelling voice as well and plot ideas. So it would be like the back and forth with that. Yeah. Oh God, how awesome is it as both a writer and an artist to when you do collaborate, when you do artwork for somebody, how much do you give it? I mean, I wouldn't tell Alan Moore anything if
Yeah.
he wanted, I'd just be like, yes, sir. Okay, sir. Certainly, sir. But if there was somebody else that was writing, if I had some ideas and I was actually a talented artist, do you chip in sometimes? You say, you
Oh, yeah.
might want to try this, or
Okay.
do they let you do that? Because I mean, you got to have some cred to be able to do that, and some confidence.
Yeah, I'm going to say also, I appreciate it when I have a very visual writer, and I will throw my ideas out there and advocate for them. But if they have a strong vision, they explain to me, that's clever, but it's not going to work with this story, I will trust them.
Yeah.
I'm very much one of those, like, I'm like an actor who will explain their vision to a director of where they want to go with the character, and the director says, you'll have to trust me on this. This is the direction to go. I will trust the director. I will trust the writer on that. But
Right.
also because I try to work with writers I love, that's worked out well. I haven't had that kind of pushback when I did kind of more random writer of the month type things back in my early in my career.
Mhm.
But yeah, later in my career, it's just been like the big example of the writer saying, you're going to have to trust me on this, Gene, was Brad Meltzer with the Eisner winning issue of the Justice League of America we did.
Right.
Where Vixen and Red Arrow trapped in a collapsed building that's flooding.
Yep.
And the panels, he wanted the panels to get smaller and smaller, but also the gutters between the panels to get bigger and bigger. And I was like, should I just be doing a close-up camera on that and I can just fill up the whole page? And he's like, no, I want less artwork on every page, which is like, I mean, that's less work for me. But and he just said, trust me, I know visually this is going to get across the claustrophobia in a way that it would not happen if you just did a close-up and filled the whole page with art. And he was right.
There you go. Well, okay. I speaking of top 10, there is one panel that I have to bring up because rereading it, I forgot this gem, and it was just, Leo, can you please bring up the super secret cuddly crisis photo, please? I believe it is the Galactopus. Because I'm sorry, rereading this, I forgot about this, and this drove me nuts. Just rereading this, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, I forgot about it, and rereading it, I was like, as an animal fan, I was like, I didn't know I needed this. I just, how much did you laugh? Just imagine, like, putting this page, that it had to come from the great mind of Alan Moore. Like, I was like, I'm sorry, that is yes, people, that is a cat Galactus. What? Just, I'm good. I'm fine. So, like, and again,
Galactopus.
Yeah,
Galactopus. All right.
Galactopus.
Go with
Yeah,
that.
I mean, Gene. I mean, you had so much to do in top 10. I mean, literally, you guys arrested one of my favorite characters ever, Santa Claus. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, losing my mind. I just, things like this. Like, is this one of those where you have to sit down and really think about how you're going to do this? Like, I just kind of imagine, like, there'd be drawing sessions where you'd be chuckling and like, oh no, I messed that up. I got to fix that. I'm sorry. I just too fucking funny.
Well, okay, you have. I'm going to say I'm lucky that the page you brought up also has the credits on it, where it says Xander Cannon layouts. And a lot of the fun of this is, of course, I'd get the script. Me and Xander would get the scripts in from Alan Moore via fax because it was Alan hates computers. He's good at writing about computers, but he hates computers. And then Xander would do the layouts, and Xander and I had studios next to each other, so we discuss the layout of the pages. And like I actually asked Xander, do you think I should do the mice cartoony or should I do them realistic? And not skipping a beat, Xander immediately said, we need to do them realistic. The joke's not going to work unless they're drawn very realistically as mice.
Fair enough.
Just looking at this, the amount of absurdity here is fantastic. Brings me so much joy, this single frame.
Yeah. I should also
Just-
say the
great.
Galactopus and the
I
I
love
can't remember
the name,
Eternamouse.
the
I can't
name.
remember the
Yeah.
but
The name.
those two big characters were in the script. Almost all of the other mice are just ones me and Xander came up with.
So are they based on anybody, or did you just make a bunch of mice and went with it?
Oh, they're all based on somebody. Yeah, I think there's oh no, Alan did specify that there's a Martian Manhunter mouse wearing the red cape there.
Yes.
Oh, that was too good. Yeah, that was too good.
Yeah. Actually, Leo, if you can bring up the other one that I sent you, I believe that Martian Manhunter mouse or Martian Mouse Hunter, let's call it that. Yeah.
Just real quick though, I just pointing out real quick. Looks like you got a Wonder Woman there, a Batman there.
Yeah. That's Later Mouse.
Oh yeah, I can't. And then
there's a John Constantine mouse, a Hercules
I
mouse.
saw the Constantine. I wasn't crazy. I honestly thought is because one fun fact, I love John Constantine.
She does.
Here's by far, and him, Green Lantern, anything to do with Green Lantern, I'm a girl. So the fact I'm like, is that a John? No, there's no way in heck that is a John Constantine, but bloody hell, that is a Constantine mouse. I am so stupidly happy.
Yeah.
In this world, there's a Constantine mouse.
I'm working with Alan Moore. I've got to tweak his notes by throwing some of his characters in.
So I do a lot of cosplays at Tana. I do a lot of cosplay work, and I have a friend. I have someone, my partner. He often cosplays as John Constantine, and we often thought it was funny that he's an American playing a Brit, and I'm a Brit cosplaying as an American. It's just like this is what we're doing now.
And that's why you work, honey.
It's weird. It's so absurd.
Just real quick, is this Mighty Mouse? Is that supposed to be like Mighty Mouse?
I can't remember right. I think so.
Oh
the
my
one with the big A in his chest is definitely, obviously, Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Risky Rodent, who's of course based on Danger Mouse. The Latin word for muscles is based on the Latin word for mice or mouse. So that's musculus. We came up. Xander and I came up with names for all these.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and then Human Torch Mouse or a mouse.
I see the Torch Mouse, and I see it looks like a Fantastic Four mouse there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the Thing Mouse. Yeah.
Yep.
The Thing Mouse. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right.
Okay. Yeah. I'll bring up that.
Please bring up the other one.
Wait. One sec. The white on the cape, if you zoom out, it looks like the Max. Like the Max's face.
Oh, it does.
It
does. It does look like the Max's face. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
Wow.
Like that's what I have like Max recognition radar though. Like
she does.
Oh, that's Max.
Do you really?
That's like the Max. Yes, the Max. I had a great little Max figurine, but a 5-year-old got a hold of some of my collectibles and my toys. And the Max was launched across Cthulhu was launched across the room by the Max, who won a battle royale out of all of my toys and collectibles. But the Max lost his mohawk and things happened, so he is now relegated to the toy drawer. But
that's fair. But yes, that's hilarious. Wait, no, this is the well. I mean, this is Santa. So I mean, like I said, just seeing
Charlie Brown.
That was in the script. It's good old Charlie Doom.
Charlie Doom.
Oh my! Wow, I didn't even realize that, but I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. This is hilarious. This is. I love this so much.
No.
So pleased to be here.
Mahana, the thing that you love is that they're literally bringing him in handcuffs. They're like, all right, listen, Santa. Like they don't believe.
Listen, you're not. You are not wrong, because he's like literally. I mean, come on, honestly, even in this world, that sounds absolutely bonkers. If some person was like, "Yeah, I'm Santa Claus," I'd be like, "You're not. There's no way," and you can't. So it's upsetting the fact that someone's Charlie Brown right there and all these different. It's just too good. It's too good.
Indeed. So yeah, Leo, there was the other one. I think it was All the Mice. If you wouldn't mind.
I only had the 2.
No, I sent you 3.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second.
I'm fairly certain I sent you 3.
Nice.
I was, yeah.
They're your cousins, yes. Yes, they are.
He is.
Right. He already gave you panels of squirrels. Yes, he did. I'm actually not a fan of Squirrel Girl at all. I just have Ratatosker, and I love him. So,
Well, so I would do Squirrel Girl because my niece really wanted me to do Squirrel Girl.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wait a second, Leo. I might not have. Hold on.
And I'm like, okay.
I'm not anti-Squirrel Girl. I just don't read. It's never been like a. Ooh, I
It's
gotta
fine.
read that.
Yeah. No, of course.
right,
I
Lena.
literally, I knew who she was, obviously, but I had to go back and read to kind of get a joint in how I'm going to make this tale work.
But
Because that was quite. I did everything on my cosplay. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to attach this tail to my jacket, and I did, and it worked.
yeah, but no, but I just want to say, Gene, like I said, I read this ages ago, but the world building you and Alan did was fantastic. And speaking of, yeah, see right there in the corner,
Right, oh my gosh.
Martian Mouse Hunter. Look at that, nuking the cheese.
Oh my gosh! Stop. Is that? Oh my god, that's too good.
Well, yeah, because remember,
really
MJ,
green and everything.
Yeah, they were dealing with super mice. So then the exterminator brings in like Avengers cats, and it was like, all right, these will take care of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, look at that. I mean, I even think I think the Captain America mouse is lifting the fridge.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's also the painting on the wall behind them is a High Father from the New Gods praying over a piece of bread.
Yo!
Oh my god! That is. Oh my gosh!
Who's making the impression in the frying pan that's being smacked down?
The one underneath is Captain Marvel.
Oh my god! Yo, oh my god, that's fucking funny. I can't. Like, again, these are the things that I swear I love when you overlook comments. I feel like it's like watching an old movie. Yeah, like, no matter what, you always find something new. You can watch 100 times, you still find something new. So you're that old movie, Gene. Never change.
Easter mice.
You know?
Easter mice.
There's an essay read by Frank Herbert where he talked about how if you're going to give him at the time like $2-3 for a novel, you deserve multiple rounds of entertainment from it. Like if you read it once, you read it twice, you're still going to be entertained. You're going to still be entertained the fourth time. And I kind of took that into comics of like, if you're going to pay $5 nowadays or $6 for a comic book, you should read it for more than 23 minutes.
Yeah, it should have a reread value.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's funny. I just had a train of thought and it's gone. Damn it. Well, speaking of rereading, is that like one of your earliest things, and we talked about this when we did the interview back in August, was that you were working on Cable. You know, you're fleshing out Cable's backstory. You're drawing this futuristic future that's beyond what we've seen, and a lot of what you did remained undisturbed, which in comics is really rare because a lot of times, you know, especially in the X-Men, someone will always take someone who's like, you know what, we're gonna let's change a little bit, you know. Yeah. But you were showing a future that was just far beyond what we saw, and that was the Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, and then and I feel like I'm going to say this wrong because it's the future talk. Ascani-san. Damn, I'm so close. All right. Well, I mean, on top of that, I feel like you had to be a fan of sci-fi to just think up all that craziness. I mean, you had some like high intense stuff, man. So, I mean, you're obviously a science fiction fan, as we can see from May, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's also partially just having being very curious about just the whole world around you, and just throwing everything you love into into what you're drawing. Hold on, I'm going to show you something where it. Yeah, they turned it into they threw it into the X-Men animated series that they recently relaunched.
Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah.
So the ending of the season. I'm going to show you an image from Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix. Okay.
Okay.
So here's a cover I did. So that costume I did for the future version of Cyclops.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so that was partially based on me having being a big fan. Well, I shouldn't say big fan. My parents had a subscription to National Geographic when I was a kid, so we got the paper copies coming to our house every month, and I would tend to kind of tear through it and just learn weird things and find weird visuals as a kid and just be fascinated with them.
Right.
Now, I'm going to show you something else.
Please.
No, so for the most part, there was a series by John Paul Leon where they kind of took a little bit of the costumes and stuff like that, but for the most part, nobody wanted to draw the costumes I drew again until the animated series.
Hey.
Okay, but let me see. But there's the one place where somebody used that costume again. I'm 50% sure, but not 100% sure.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to show you.
Please.
And I'm going to say it's a company that is also owned by Disney, just like Marvel is. So they have every right to do this. I do not own that design. I do not own the character. I signed some papers that said, it's all yours.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Whoa.
And then.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like,
absolutely.
You bought it. You bought it, Disney. It's yours.
Right.
It's nice to see it like getting around, though. You know, that has to be like, I mean, I'm not getting paid for it, but wow.
Hey.
No, I was paid for it. But I never got paid again.
Cool enough. Yeah.
Well, that was you working with Scott Lobdell, who we're planning to have on a little later this year. So we'll definitely make sure to bring. We'll tell him you said hey. Yeah. You know. Oh yeah, he's great. But it's. I'm trying to think. I mean, like I said, you worked on so much, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you also did a little work on Aliens, right? Aliens Havoc.
Oh, I think it was only like a single page, like literally only a page of Alien story art I ever did for the comic books.
Wow. Oh, okay.
I know we just kind of got done. I wanted to go back to Alan Moore real quick because we don't often get to speak to somebody who's collaborated with Alan Moore because it you know. But he just sent you faxes and stuff. Did you guys ever meet up, or was it all just back and forth? Like,
we've never met up. There's a thing when he told me when we were working together that if I ever made it to his corner of England, I should look him up and we should do lunch. And it was like 15 years after we worked together, I finally had a chance to go to England for the first time since I was a teenager. So I called him up and he said, I can't take a break. I'm writing Jerusalem. And I'm not taking a break for anybody at this point.
Wow.
So I've never met him.
Oh, no.
Well, that was rude.
If you say Jerusalem, it's, yeah.
I want to find somebody.
Yeah. I mean,
I met his wife. She's delightful. Melinda Gebby's wonderful. So we get along great. But he wasn't there. He doesn't come to the United States anymore, and she does.
But you had enough communication back and forth as far as getting everything done that.
Oh, yeah. He likes faxes and he likes phones. So we had a lot of phone conversations.
I remember, it's funny. I remember the first time I ever heard his actual voice. It was funny. It was on The Simpsons. Because... You know, every once in a while he just pops up. I think he's like narrating, or he had that one where the comic book guy there was a signing, and it was him, Art Spiegelman, and I think it was the guy who did Ghost World. They're all doing a signing, and of course Milhouse has a copy of Watch Babies, and Alan is very vocal, but then he loves Lulu, and he's just. I was like, it's just gravelly Alan Moore And then, of course, the comic book guy goes nuts, and they declare the League of Extraordinary Freelancers. They're just beating the crap out of the guy. And I think it was funny because Art Spiegelman was like, no, I can't do this. And he puts on a mouse mask. And then he's like, all right, now I'm ready. And I'm just like thinking to myself, like, this is Alan Moore. And I'm like, I was like, now I feel like if I ever meet him, I'm like, oh God, this is Alan Moore. It's one of those things I've always thought, like, what would I do like if I met Alan Moore? I was like, I probably wouldn't say anything. I said, thank you, please sign. Thank you so much for your work. Thank you, bye. So I can only imagine having a conversation with him because I think that's.
Dear God. Challenge him to a hair off. It's going to be like.
Yeah, we
don't have the beard, but.
I always kind of Gene. I always made that joke with him and Carrie. I was like, I think the only person who can match Carrie's hair was Alan Moore. And then I was like, because I've always made the joke. I was like, yeah, that man's beard is some sort of sentient eldritch horror. Like him and Carrie combined with a hair off. And it's just, I was like, nope, it's going to eat the whole goddamn world. And Carrie was like, yeah, probably that would happen. I'm like,
yeah. No, I can see, even with my hair, I have all this hair, but like, no.
Yep. It's good. It's good to have hair when you have hair. You know.
I should mention also, he wasn't able to meet me, but Alan does stay very active in his corner of England, just doing things like working with upcoming filmmakers or working with local high schoolers.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic.
He's not pretentious at all.
Oh no, I've heard he's a big fan of libraries, so he'll do like signings at libraries, and I was like, I like books. I support libraries.
I like all the books.
I like all the books. All the books.
All the books. All the books.
Yeah. So thank you, Gene. We're going to be on the lookout for any. If I'm ever in England, I'm like, is he here? Where? That'll be the greatest selfie I never take.
Literally, I go back to England every few years, so it'd be a bad idea.
Oh, MJ, if you get that photo, I cannot tell you how much I'll be like, congratulations. I hate you so much.
I know. Just rub it in just a little bit.
Indeed. So, Gene, because I know there was a part of your career where you were on sabbatical. So what is it like when you said, you know what, I'm just going to take a break from comics and then working on your own thing? What prompted that? I mean, you've done a lot. But in 2013, you're like, you know what? I'm going to take a break from work from hire. I'm going to focus on May. No regrets?
Oh, no. I'll say that the thing I always said before then was that I'm always going to try to work with the best writer I can work with.
Right.
And so far, that's never been me. And what literally happened at that point was, I don't want to name a name, but I had a project that was moving forward with the writer, and then the writer dropped out. And it's kind of like, oh, well, I guess I'm not doing that project anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, now I've run out of excuses not to write my own project. I should just start doing it now. And that's how I started working on May and took the break to do that.
That's cool. It's sad, but it turned out good.
Yeah.
Carrie, that's the turning the frown upside down metaphor.
Life gives you lemons. Kick its ass.
Yeah.
Freedom to like people you don't like.
I actually still adore the writer, but I mean, I should also mention a similar situation is how I first wrote my first short story for comics, which is a totally different project. An editor, Stuart Moore at Marvel, during the Marvel Knights era, said,
yes.
Pick a writer, and of the available characters we have at Marvel, would you like to do a Marvel Knights story? So I picked a writer, and then that writer had to drop out. And Stuart Moore told me, well, the only person left on the creative team is you. You're going to have to write the story. And I wrote a story.
No pressure or anything.
Oh, that's the thing. Stuart Moore then had to take me through 5 drafts of it and then began asking me questions like, have you thought this bit of the plot through? Have you thought bit of this character development through? And those 5 drafts, which must have been so much added work. No, not must have been. They definitely were so much added work for him. But that was one of the greatest comics master classes you could ever ask for. He's a great editor. He's a great thinker on story, and he taught me so much about the writing craft, which I thought I kind of knew from working from scripts, but writing your own and then seeing all the ways that you can not think it through and that you should. And I think if he was just an editor who cared less about story, he would have been just like, oh, you have some fight scenes, you're going to draw and paint them beautifully, that's good enough. But yeah, there's an Iron Fist story I did where it's like, it's not a great story or anything, but it's so much better than the first draft. And that's because Stuart Moore was so patient and so caring and
Very
such
cool.
a great editor and writer himself.
Very nice.
And do you sell your scripts as something people
No.
can purchase from you? Okay.
Oh, I mean, I'll give you my. I mean, if you want a copy of any of the scripts I've written, I will track them down and give them to you. And I even have some Alan Moore scripts and stuff in some of my archives. If you want some of those, he's given me permission to like release those to like bits and pieces and stuff. So,
Carrie,
Yes,
I'll send you this email. I got you, Carrie.
I think you've made
I
Carrie's
love-
year.
Yeah, I love reading the script. I write prose, and so I'm very into reading,
Yeah.
and I have a couple of little comic ideas that I have that I would like to write, but I've been studying, different people's script styles, and that's something like I said, I do the crowdfunding thing at the end of the show, and it's something new that a lot of people have been throwing into their crowdfunding projects as an add-on is, and you get my original script for it, so you can, and everybody writes differently, and some people even write differently just based on who the artist is, because if they've worked with somebody for a long time, they're just like, oh yeah, I know he's going to handle it. I know she's going to handle it, if I just shorthand. But, other things are like, okay, we have to go very detailed into it and explain it. And so, yeah, love scripts.
well, okay. So one of the lucky things I had on working with Top 10 is, of course, Xander Cannon was my layout artist. And up to that point, I'd only been an artist on comic books. Xander had self-published, so he was a writer, an artist, inker, letterer, graphic designer, marketer, all that type of stuff. So when he read the Alan Moore scripts along with me, he saw stuff I didn't see. And the analysis he gave me after a few issues was, first, when you talk about like writers writing differently for different artists, he said, it's obvious that Alan Moore worked with some artists who didn't follow the script, and it was kind of a little bit of a difficult thing for him, and it's still kind of emotionally scarring him today. Yeah. So he tends to describe the action in the description of the panel, but then oftentimes he will have the character describe the action in the dialogue, which by the view of creators like, say, Will Eisner, is something you're supposed to avoid. But he needed to do that because he would work with some artists who wouldn't draw everything he put into the script, the essential parts in the script. That we often left stuff out from what he described if we establish it later. But I've seen that happen also, like on Supreme, when Alan Moore wrote that. There's a scene where Supreme and the Jimmy Olsen analog character are standing on a cliff, and the Jimmy Olsen character is pointing in the sky, and he's saying, "Look at that city floating in the sky. It's gigantic. It must be the size of, it must be like, 80 miles across. It's so detailed and ornate. It must be millions, 30 million people living in that city. I've never seen anything so high tech." And the actual drawing on the page was most of a circle with little rectangles on top. And that was the whole city.
Wow.
But fortunately, the dialogue had all the description of it. What it was supposed to be as opposed to what it was drawn.
Right.
And the other important analysis that Xander gave me was that Alan does some comic art, usually like Maxwell the Magic Cat, very simple comic strips, but he can't draw. And Xander said it's clear from his scripts that when he's writing the script, he does a little rough thumbnail drawing of all the action, all the heads, and all the dialogue on the page before he types it. And then when he does type it, when you read the description of the action on the page, he's scanning the page in reading order and describing where every object appears on the page in reading order. Then when he does the dialogue balloons, he's describing them in reading order again, because he can see exactly where they're on the page. And you can't just imagine that in your head. It's not easy to imagine that in your head, but every panel, that was clearly happening that way. And he's like, There has to be a rough, but he's not sending it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot to have in your head.
Really is.
Yeah, but Xander also noted the word balloons never cross tails in his panels if you follow his recipe. Like, if you put the heads in the order he describes it and the word balloons in the order he describes it, there's no crossing of tails or anything like that or complicated. It always fits.
Holy shit.
The one thing
That
I
makes
have
so much
noticed from
sense.
him is that I've noticed a lot of things about him, but
Yes.
one of the main things, if you got paid by the letter to be his letterer, you'd be rich for life. But when he doesn't have enough dialogue and stuff, he sits down and explains every single thing. Like From Hell is a great example. You're reading a novel on top of a graphic novel if you go through and read all of his notes and where he got his research and everything. And I'm sorry, we're here to focus on you, and I just kind of pulled us off on an Alan Moore thing.
That's part of my career.
No,
But Alan also often will put a note, especially on the first script he writes for an artist, to say, feel free to make changes.
Wow.
And I was too big of a Alan Moore fanboy during the first 13 pages of Top 10 I drew without Xander to ever vary from the script. I try to do everything he said in the recipe. And Xander, because he was able to read it at a more meta level, was like, I can see what Alan's going for here. So in this panel, we're not going to throw all the 5 heads in here. We're going to throw in one head, have a reaction shot and dialogue. And the next panel, that's when we're going to finally show all the heads and the backgrounds and stuff like that. The next shot, we're going to do the establishing shot. So Xander felt much more flexible about that. But again, Alan didn't mind this. He thought it was great.
Oh, there you go. If I can, just another story that I would love to share with I know we talked about it when we were in the interview, but one of your early works is you got to work.
Sorry, that's the cutest sneeze in the world. I thought my wife had a cute sneeze, but that's a very cute sneeze.
Yeah, she's adorable. Damn, MJ. All right, so you got one of your earliest collaborators with the late great Archie Goodwin, who I've always felt is an unsung hero. I mean, he's known, but I feel more people do not recognize how great, not just a writer, but as an editor, he was just absolutely phenomenal. And I know this because I know what great work he did helping Starman come to light. He worked with Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale on The Long Halloween, things like that. But he was one of your early collaborators, and you requested to work with him. So I mean, if you wouldn't mind shedding a little, no pun intended, a little light on what that was like. That story was fantastic, and I would love if you wouldn't mind sharing it again.
Oh yeah, I mean, I loved a lot of his early work writing early Marvel comics when Stanley would stop writing a series, and then sometimes Archie Goodwin would step in and be like, "Oh, these are actually better issues than Stan Lee wrote." There's especially an issue of a British series called A1, where he wrote a story about a cult leader, and it was just such a good story. It was just so brilliant. It was only 6-7 pages long, but it just blew me away. It was like, this is the best story in this whole series, the best written story. His Batman Black and White story is my favorite Batman Black and White story. He's such a great writer. So he was working on Showcase 95. Every year they gave it a new year, but so 94, 93. So Showcase 95, he offered me to let me do a story in it. And kind of like Stuart Moore did later, he said, and you can work with any writer we can get. So I said, well, I mean, I want to work with Alan Moore someday. He said, well, Alan doesn't want to work with DC or Marvel anymore. No. So I said, the next name on the list I want to work with is you. And he thought I was joking, but I was like, no, I began talking about how much I loved his stories, and he wrote in a modern style in the 60s before, the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. He was always so ahead of his time and had such a sensitive understanding of story structure, just literary twists and stuff like that, and also just a lot of superhero fun. So getting to work with him was great. And he changed how I do storytelling. He taught me how to kind of build suspense, hold off on certain things, and then when to press the gas, which is something I didn't understand before.
Sounds like a great man.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on our unusual time. So, Leo, I'm sorry, I'm going to steal your questions because you
stole it last week too.
All right,
Leo
fine.
doesn't get to talk.
You know what? You know what?
Let
You know
Leo
what?
talk.
You know what? I'm sorry.
Leo.
I needed to elicit a reaction to prove that you weren't a stand-in again. Okay, we still got the AI pond. So Leo, do you have anything you want to ask our guest before he leaves?
Yeah. So Gene, something we try to ask everybody is when you're not doing your awesome artwork, what are you doing? Like, what do you geek out about?
Oh man.
No, we say he didn't get asked that before. He's like, oh no,
Like I don't always have enough time to read as many comics as I'd like. But when I eat dinner, I like to sit down and watch television while we eat dinner with my wife, and then we talk about the television show and think about storytelling and stuff like that. So and then it's like a weird set of TV shows we watch. But I love TV shows where they think through all the details so it all fits together. I mean, I don't demand that of everything, but when they do put in the effort, that's very much how I like to look at stories. And when they do it, I really appreciate it. So like, we can give two examples of things where, like, one my wife watched without me because it's like they're not thinking it through, and one where I did watch it with her. Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, which so many ways a great
Season
show.
3, episode
Beautifully
5. I'm
shot.
gonna die.
Yeah, great actors, but they would just do things like the federal FBI agents taking over a local police station because their power supersedes, and it's kind of like, you don't understand how American federalism works. The federal government can't just take over a local police department. They can't just overrule them. Or also, every time a fight happened inside of Sons of Anarchy,
yeah.
Sons of Anarchy always won because we're tougher. And it's kind of like, that's not how an ambush works. It's just like, but we're the heroes, so we're always going to win the gunfight. And it's kind of like, then when I contrast that with Better Call Saul.
Right.
It's a biker soap opera based on Shakespeare, though. So
yeah,
it's ridiculous to begin with.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I mean,
it is.
Better Call Saul was ridiculous too, but they also kind of thought everything through. It didn't totally resemble reality, but when they did make a rule, they followed through.
Right.
Like everybody like, I'll forgive somebody acting stupid if they're supposed to be not great at what they're doing. But if you're supposed to be the greatest lawyer in the world or something like that, or something like, and you don't understand how the law works, or if, oh God. Oh, okay. It's like in Sons of Anarchy, that's not as bad, not the worst one of this. The one where I just had to stop watching it, and it was just killing me, was Ozark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Has one of my favorite actors in the world in it, Laura Linney. I am one of the biggest Laura Linney fans in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But every time there these scenes they set up, which were just so painful to me, I had to turn the TV off. Of, I am the leader of a drug cartel. This happened several times. Or local, I know I am in a feud with you, fellow drug cartel leader. So I'm going to walk alone into your house and talk about, I know you want to kill me, and we're going to argue now. And then you whipped out a gun and killed me. Oh my God, I had no idea that was going to happen. It's like, that's like the third time that's happened.
Get smarter. Come on.
Fly to the United States, walk this house, and get killed. I do not understand.
That has a very low-key, are you ever not going to fall for that feeling?
Yeah. Like Thor is dumb. He's supposed to be dumb. These are supposed to be smart people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it has a whole low-key. You ever not going to fall for that? That's
no.
Yeah.
I do want to say with Sons of Anarchy, like, Kurt Sutter just threatened his fans. Like, if they were like, why would you do this? This doesn't make sense. Do you want me to make this really twisted? Because I'm not going to go and I can't really consciously say what some of the things that in good conscientiously say some of the things that he threatened to do with the show. But I mean, it was obvious that, no, don't take any of this at face value. Like, none of this is real. But
well, quick question on TV for a second is have you had a chance to watch it? And if so, what are your thoughts on like the influx of Tyler Sheridan, right?
Yeah.
His shows.
We're talking like Yellowstone and stuff, right, Leo?
Like a whole, like,
I've heard they're great, but I've never watched them yet.
Okay.
Oh,
his new one, Landman, is really good.
Okay. I had one small question, Gene. This popped in my head while we were talking television, because you made in May you made a lot of Doctor Who references. Are you or is it your partner? Are they the Doctor Who fan? Are you a Doctor Who fan?
No. So part of the inspiration for doing May was that at the time, so I started around thinking about it in 2013, came out with first issues in 2015.
Right.
There were almost no female geek characters in pop culture who were the hero of the story.
Oh, okay.
So, and typically, like, there'd be a female geek character on a team on an action story, but she'd always be the one who stays behind and talks into the headphone of the male action hero and tells him which way to turn and which wire to cut. And then she'd have a crush on the hero, but that was kind of her role.
The Rose Tyler.
To worship him and give him advice when he needs it.
Right.
And I wanted to do a story where the female geek was the hero, because I know so many female geeks, like fellow comics professionals, comics retailers, sci-fi writers and readers and stuff like that. Yeah. And just, I wanted the main character of the story to be the hero because she's a geek. And that's where that came from.
Oh, don't worry. The two of those right above me. The two cheerful gothy ones.
Yeah. So almost everything that May is a fan of is because my female geek friends who I was basing May on were fans of it. Like, I don't play Mass Effect, or was that? I don't even know the name of the game.
You got the reference right.
Oh.
Yeah, but my friends were, so it's like, so May is a fan of that, and you're gonna have to tell me all about it.
The last question I have is: have you seen anybody cosplay as May or anybody from your book yet? And if you did, what would your action? Would you just lose your mind?
Oh yeah, when it does happen, I do lose my mind. Actually, the first time, like the year after it came out, like a few months after the first series came out, two sisters who were probably about like 10 and 13 came dressed as the characters.
Oh my god!
And it was really exciting. And now they've like grown up and they're like college age and stuff like that. And I'm like, every time I see them, I give them a free sketch and stuff like that, because I'm just like, oh my god, you were the first cosplay fans. Let me see. Also, the next person who cosplayed is a comic book editor who works with Source Point Press sometimes. Drina Jo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she came once dressed as like Annie, and I was just like, yeah, and we've been friends ever since, stuff like that. She's such a fabulous geek. She's exactly the kind of geek I based May on, except she's not sciencey, which I'm not either. So I have to ask science advice from science.
No one's joking.
Yeah. Yeah, and then and it's mentioned. I got permission to mention her in the book. A high school friend's daughter was used as the visual reference for both Abby and for May.
Oh.
Yeah, and she's actually dressed up as a character too. Like, we've done a library program, and she dressed up as Abby for it. It was
my god, fantastic!
Nice.
All right, well, thank you. Like, I just was like, man, that'd be so cool.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Okay, Kari, you have a question?
Last question.
Yep.
Are you incredibly tall? Do you have slanted ceilings, or do you have a very strange camera angle going on?
I work in an attic, so it's only that's probably about 4 feet off the ground there, and then the ceiling slopes through. So I stand up too fast, I'll bump my head.
I was on that same.
I just had I had a bedroom like that.
I didn't want to be the one to ask that, from like, I'm glad, I'm like, I think it was a weird.
I got you.
I mean, listen, I've met Gene. He's decently sized. I mean, it wasn't like I was towering over him, but I mean, I'm 6'2". No. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, hi there, Gene. Hello there.
There's the bookcase below him, so it's like, is it a full size bookcase, or it's a little bookcase?
That's what I'm saying. It's the angle, honestly. It's all about the angles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Drew doesn't want me to mention this, but there's a room in the Snake House that's just like that.
Oh my God, Leo, where he's going? Sorry. So, Gene, I'm sorry. I didn't need to use the big boy voice, but God damn you. So, ignoring the soon to be a cat again, Leo. Gene, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is absolutely fantastic, and I know that the definitive edition of May is coming out. I believe it's April or this year.
Yeah,
May?
I think it's April 9th. Yes.
Okay, April. So obviously we will. Kari will make sure that we keep advertising. We want to help you make that smony. Thank you so much for having us. If there's anything you do Kickstarter wise or any other projects coming up, create our own, let us know. We'd be more than glad to promote them. And hopefully we're all going to be at Terrificon again. Hopefully we see you there this year.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Can I just say a few more things?
No,
Okay,
we're not cutting you off now. Please.
Okay, so you can order. Final order cutoff for May is in March, but you can order it right now. But even if you can't spend that much money on a graphic novel right now, go to your local public library. Tell your library you'd like to read this. Can they order it and put a hold on it for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm adding to my to-do list for tomorrow. I'll tell you that.
Also, I should mention everyone here on this on the screens here is human, except for Leo, who is a cat using a Instagram filter.
Yes. Dispel the lie. Yes. Let him know.
I've already mentioned he's a cat. So I'm just telling you how we do it.
You got to make get those cat illusions, man.
He has beans for toes.
But again, Gene, thank you. God damn it, I hate you. Gene, thank you so much for coming on. Before we go, are you doing any conventions this year that people could find you at? And what's the best social media for people to reach you?
Blue Sky is the best place to find me online, but you can also find me on Instagram. I have a Facebook page, but Facebook does not like showing pages anymore to anybody. Let me see. And I will be at C2E2. Let me see. What's the other? Oh, Heroes Con. I'll definitely be at Heroes Con. I'll be at a Anime Con because a friend of mine is helped running it. MomoCon in Atlanta, Georgia. And the rest is a little bit up in the air depending on how many interior pages I have to draw this year. If fewer, then I'll go to more conventions. More, I'll do. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
There we go.
Okay.
Very cool. I love Blue Sky, by the way. It's,
it's fun.
You might have noticed.
Yeah, I've only been talking about it for the last one.
I've got to join.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. You weren't the one who got a shout. Excuse me. You weren't the one who got a shout out from our guest on Blue Sky. Okay, that was. So, don't tell me about Blue Sky. I'm clearly winning at Blue Sky. So you.
Oh, you're winning. Yeah.
Love you too. But Gene, thank you so much again, man. This is absolutely delightful. This is like the third time I've thanked you, but all the things.
It's all the things.
I'm going to be bugging you for scripts. I'm sorry. You're just going to be like,
yeah,
do it.
Oh, Gene, you're opening that door. Trust me. Kari will Van Damme it. Royally strong.
Really?
Oh yeah. But thank you again. If there's anything comes up with the upload, we can send you a link or let us know. But thank you again. And like I said, we hope we get to see you at a con that we're all at sometime this year, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
All right.
Well,
thank you so much.
Gene.
Have a good night.
Good night. And
Good night.
all the club members out there.
Yep.
Yes, you're all part of our family now.
Yep.
Leo's hosting.
He's
got a great basement.
Yep.
Oh God.
I have a pillow of Drew because he gets tired so often.
Oh my God.
Oh, that is hilarious.
The shame. I'm not ashamed. It's there. But
hysterical.
I'm like resting my arm on it so I don't lose. Yeah, he says get out.
I think I'd seen that one of your other casts I'd watched. Yeah, I think I'd seen that. And I've always thought I should ask, and I always forgot to ask. I'm like, is that true?
That's me.
Yeah, I
And
made it. And if you would like to order one, I will set it up on TeePublic for a day so that it is orderable.
Yes,
So that anyone who
Please
wants one,
don't.
and I'll take it back down again because
Mahana,
it's hysterical.
please don't encourage this.
Okay.
So
I gotta
here's the
ask.
thing. I
Thank you
have
again,
adult
Gina.
money and no one can tell me no.
Oh, what's that, Drew? Gene?
Gene?
Okay. So the question is
Yes.
whether you had that printed from a photo, or did you do it Shroud of Turin style, where you just put a piece of cloth over Drew's face and just let it imprint onto the fabric?
Okay,
Dean,
I
Dean,
literally
you are
got
not
the man.
helping the situation. The point is to de-escalate,
No.
not
Okay,
escalate.
No, I
No-
no.
Notice
I
how he
like
has
where
the
he's
thumb
going
out.
with this. I like where he's going
Okay.
with this.
I literally got the man to pose a couple of times in he's Ghostbuster Man 1984 is another
Oh
thing
my
we were in
God.
banners about on the bottom of the screen whenever we're talking about him at night. And so I got him to pose, like, I'm like, give me some get out poses, because somebody else had made a suggestion, like, we could make a meme. And so, like, I got all these things, and I'm like, I made a pillow, because Drew always lays down. And so then I, like, got it, I'm like, it's life size. And I freaked some people out once, because I had it, like, behind me as my back. And I got up and left, and they were like, did you know that there's a man sitting in your chair behind you? Because our heads are about the same size, you know? It's like
Okay,
life size.
that is too
I don't
funny.
like this. I don't like this. This is
feel
not
like
what the
it's
kind of
funny.
attention I want on me.
I freaked out my
I love that
sister. I
that's-
was speaking to her yesterday, and she saw this king dice head prop I had made, and she's like, "What the devil is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a cosplay thing I had done ages ago for for somebody."
Aw.
And she's like, because she just saw the eyeball. She's looking while I was sitting up here. Oh, she saw the eyeball looking at her. She goes, "I know that's a Pokemon. What the hell is it sitting?" I'm like, "Oh, I completely forgot. I put the head back there. Honestly, I just stuck it back there, and yeah."
If anyone would like a get out Drew Mollo coffee mug, pillow, t-shirt, just send me an email, and I'll put it up on TeePublic
Carrie,
for you for a day.
Carrie, let
Great.
Gene
It'll be on
go.
sale.
Carrie, stop
Gene,
selling.
I will
We have
buy
to let
you
Gene-
one personally.
Yeah.
Carrie,
We'll talk
stop
later about the
selling.
script by email.
We've got to let Gene go so we can do the rest
Okay.
of the show. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to let him go.
All right.
We're going to release
But
him
before I
back
go-
into the wild.
I'm just going to point out, Drew is cosplaying as Pillow right now.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yes, he
I
is.
am. I am the pillow. I am the pillow man.
I'm gonna steal that Shroud of Turin thing. When
Yeah,
did
That
When
is
that?
funny. Just like
Drew,
I
I
just hold it on his head.
Invisibility cloak. Cannot see me. I will come out when Gene is gone.
Gene
Okay,
broke
so I'm supposed to go
Drew.
now?
That's awesome.
thank
It's
you
not
so
a
much.
breaking,
that is
okay?
hilarious.
It's not a breaking.
Uh-huh.
I do not want you embarrassing me in front of someone that I respect.
Okay, how
Okay.
about slightly cracked? He's
Gene,
never
you
gonna
just
invite
made
me
this
back.
like
I'm never
so
gonna-
much better. It's
Aw.
I'm so glad you came on.
No,
Thank you.
yes,
Oh.
it's
I
fantastic.
Okay,
cannot
thank
wait
you.
to see you again because you're a good hugger too. Yeah. So that's something else. I mean, like, don't accost him at cons, especially if you don't bathe. But if you're a nice
Oh.
person who washes
Oh.
your hair and wears
Oh
deodorant
my
and
God.
smells nice and stuff, you can potentially be like, "Hey, man, can I have a little back pat?" And he'll be nice and do that. Maybe.
Carrie,
I
we're
don't want to
rambling.
like.
You're not
I'm
gonna-
a fucking squirrel, Drew.
Fucking squirrel.
My job.
Yeah. That goddamn
All right.
squirrel stealing Brian
I'm
as a
not promising you. I'm not promising you physical contact with Gene Ha, but I'm just saying that he is a nice gent that will potentially, if you're nice and don't stink, give you a little backpack
Yeah.
or something, you know. So
A back pat.
yes.
Wow. Nope.
This is totally going
Nope.
off the
Not
rails.
saying that again.
Yeah.
I lost
You know what?
it.
Yeah, we're
Sorry.
gone.
Yeah, Gene, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and thanks again.
Oh
So
my
it's been
God.
great hanging out.
Truly brilliant.
Oh, it's
Have a good
fantastic.
night, Gene.
You are all
Drew.
awful. You are all awful people except Leo. But actually, I take that back. Leo encouraged this. You're all awful people.
Hey, I'm only slightly awful.
Well, I was going to say this when Gene was here, but
No.
the Shroud of Turin thing, I hear it works best with snakeskins.
Gotcha. All right.
I swear to fucking God, you are gonna put me through the goddamn wall, you ginger son of a bee stain. Okay, but you know what? You know what? I'm not. We're already running behind. I'm not gonna take this out on you. We're gonna take this out on the news. So, Carrie, I swear to God, do the thing. Do the thing.
For those of you who are absolutely interested in the Leo snake stories, you can go to the Owlite Network's YouTube page and look up the Campfire Cinders, find all of the Leo stories, and they will discuss, with pictures involved, his attacks on snakes and other times that he had on his farm growing up.
Carrie, we need to reevaluate your idea of helping, because this is not. So,
for everybody who wanted to hear the stories,
for the love of God, press the button.
Okay, so Carrie, when you come to Terrificon, I will gather a bunch of snakeskins for you. You wait till Drew.
Oh my!
He just died.
No, I had an idea. No, I have an idea, but I better not do it because I think Drew might actually be mad. But I don't.
I want to still like you, honey. Please, you're on thin ice. Okay, these two are already on double secret probation. You, second strike. Okay, don't push it. Okay, second strike. Right?
Me as a cat just pushes.
Yeah. Carrie, for the love of God, do the thing.
It's Leo who does the thing.
All right, fine.
Wait. Yes, that's
correct.
Right.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yay.
Thank you, Gene.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gene.
Okay.
Yeah,
Leo,
actually, you're done, Gene. It shows that it's complete. So,
all right.
There you go.
Congratulations, Gene. You made it. Now go watch something with your lady. Get a
Tulsa
snack.
King.
You earned it.
Tulsa King. Oh, and Landman. Landman was, both are really good.
Okay, Leo, press the button.
Hey, everybody. It is time for Variant Watch. I have Variant Watch this week, and goddamn, does Marvel have a lot of variant covers coming out for just random shit. So,
yes.
We're going to start here. These are the What If Disney Fantastic Four covers. As Marvel has seen some success with a variety of recent variant cover runs, including Avengers and X-Men's 60th anniversaries, they decided to celebrate 2025 with Disney What If Fantastic Four covers throughout 2025. As Fantastic Four will be a large part in the One World Under Doom event, along with the release of Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps, be prepared for a lot of Disney homage covers. Fans are also to expect Ryan North's run to have some very interesting twists. So if we go back to the beginning here, I can run through what we have. The first one here is Fantastic Four number 28, I believe. That is by Andrew Bassan, and it's homage to the Fantastic Four number 3 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in 1962. The next one is by Paolo Matura, and it is an homage to the Fantastic Four number 51 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in 1966. Number 30 is by Ciro Cangialosi, and it is homage to the number 60 Mark Waid and Mike Waringo in 2002 cover. Number 31 is by Claudio Schiarone. It is an homage to the number 173 Roy Thomas and John Buscema cover from 1976. 32 is by Emilio Urbano. It is an homage to the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby cover of 1961. Number 11. And the last one is number 33 by Giulio Lamurno, and it is homage to number 282 by John Byrne in 1985. So, yeah, we got a bunch of Fantastic Fours coming up. The next thing, we're just going to keep going.
Just real quick before we do, everybody seen the First Steps trailer?
Yes. It's
I have
amazing.
not yet. I did not know to look for it, but I shall look for it now.
Kari, you'll definitely enjoy what you see of it, especially since a friend of ours made sure to advertise a very unique shirt because it's fantastic. And there's 4 of them.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I should have
yes.
worn that tonight.
Soon
Okay.
enough.
Oh, one of these ones. Okay. So next, what's up? Yep. More Marvel variant covers. The excuse for these covers is the escape of Professor X, which lands all of the rest of the mutants he's associated with in a heap of trouble and hard decisions as to whether to help him or to turn him in. Phil Noto has put together an interesting lineup of connecting covers. I am just going to rattle these off. We don't have to go in order. On sale on March 5th, we have Nyx number 9, Storm number 6, and Uncanny X-Men number 11. On the 12th will be X Factor number 8 and X-Men number 13. On the 19th will be the X-Force number 9. And on the 26th will be X-Manhunt Omega number 1. And like I
Nice.
said, these are all going to be connecting covers by Phil Noto. I could not find a picture of them all connected. So
Fine.
I'm sorry about that one.
It's all good. It's
All right.
gorgeous regardless.
I love the
But-
height. It proves that I'm taller than Wolverine.
It's
So
five-
she goes,
Kari, at 5'3".
yeah, I'm 5'5". I think
Yeah, so
okay,
you're
go back a second there because I think he's like I don't think you can bamf and make it count because like his toes aren't touching the ground. So Nightcrawler isn't as tall as his Smoke. He's like cheating. Totally cheating.
You'll never hold up in court, Kari. What's next?
All right. Well, let's
Is
see
it-
which one. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So another Marvel event, Marvel cover, variant cover event will be Peach Momoko doing variant covers of various characters wearing kimonos. Once again, the order that these were given to me on the website was not the same order as they are being published in, but there are 19 of them. So let's just go through and I will tell you what they are. On sale on the 5th of March is Moon Knight Fist of Concho, Nyx number 9, Scarlet Witch number 10, Storm number 6, Uncanny X-Men number 11. On the 12th will be all new Venom number 4, Phoenix number 9, X-Men number 13. And these are pretty cool, but there's just a lot of them.
Beautiful.
On the 19th is Avengers 24, Exceptional X-Men number 7, Magic number 3, New Champions number 3, Psylocke number 5. And on the 26th will be Amazing Spider-Man number 70, Daredevil number 19, Fantastic Four number 30, Incredible Hulk number 23, Laura Kinney Wolverine number 4, and Uncanny X-Men number 12. So if you go through, they're just
Keep going,
beautiful.
Leo.
But there's so many of them, and it makes me wonder like how she has time to also be writing stuff while doing all these different covers.
Yeah, sorry, my
Yeah.
computer was freezing.
She-
I was getting the
that's
Beach
okay.
Ball of Death.
Okay.
Look at these. These are gorgeous.
They're fantastic.
Storm is
Beautiful.
gorgeous.
Wow, look at that Scarlet Witch.
Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. That's beauty.
Uh-oh.
That's
Rogue.
Mm.
And I'm sorry I rattled them off so fast. They're
Really, I
just
love
No, it's all good.
that. That's
yeah.
lovely.
Tempest, nice.
Mhm.
Mm. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the
Oh.
male version was the final. It was yeah. It's like ooh,
That's so cool.
and
All right.
there we get this.
Awesome.
So then,
Right.
the next one we have going, and the last of the crossovers, the variant titles, are going to be the Marvel Rivals. Due to the success of the Marvel games and NetEase collaboration game Marvel Rivals,
Oh, wow.
Marvel will also be gifting us with 10 variant covers featuring various playable characters in the PvP team-up shooter game. There are 5 of them available to view right now. Once again, these are all out of order because people put things up strangely. But this is the Amazing Spider-Man number 69. Then there is the Doctor Strange of Asgard number 1. Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu number 6. Immortal Thor number 21. And then the last one should be, I believe, One World Under Doom number 2. And these will be out on in March. So like I think on like the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th of March they'll all be releasing. And there will be some extras. These are just the only ones they have put up so far.
Nice.
So
Nice,
Awesome.
very nice.
yeah.
Yeah, and we've been
That was
seeing,
a lot
we've been
of covers.
we've been seeing a
That was a lot of covers.
we've been seeing a lot with the Marvel Rivals, and it's kind of funny when I see it online. There's a lot of references to Jeff the Shark, and they say, "Oh, Jeff the Shark from Marvel Rivals." But I love that we're getting more readers interested in comics. But
Yes.
Jeff the Shark's not from Marvel Rivals. He may be in Marvel Rivals, but he has a history. So
Yes, we've had his creator on.
we
Mhm.
did.
Yes.
We did. Thank you, Kelly Thompson. All right, Leo, push the other button.
Drew's News, exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains fly under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News, your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's comic news.
Oh, God. All right.
Snakeskins, Drew. Snakeskins.
Swear to God, I don't have time for your shit, Leo. All right. It's news and time. All right. Yes. Starting with the latest Spider-Man villain. So, as we know, Joe Kelly, Pepe Larraz, and John Romita Jr. are going to be starting an amazing run of Amazing Spider-Man in April. But with that, we'll be introducing a new Spider-Man villain, Hellgate, a mysterious adversary hell-bent on Spider-Man's destruction. So, essentially, with his motivation to humble the Spider-Man like no other, his motivations really may be unclear, but his strength is very evident. So right now we're here. We've got sketches by John Romita Jr. and essentially just a better understanding of the character. So essentially, as it said, Hellgate will force Spider-Man to endure some of the most brutal battles ever and significantly impact the course of Peter Parker's life in and out. So we've seen the character briefly teased in last month's Amazing Spider-Man 65. So we're going to see more as time goes on of his origins, identity, and his mission in the first year. So you got some great covers there. I believe what we saw originally was the regular, and then there was the Pepe Larraz and John Romita Jr. covers. I mean, honestly, it's another Spider-Man villain, but listen, this has the definite benefit of the doubt. And I will say I do like his look. It's got a nice historic feel to it. And every time I think they can't add more Spider-Man villains, I'm proven wrong. So what do I know?
What do you know, Drew?
This issue 1 will be on sale
Sorry, guys.
April 9th. Deep breaths, honey. So, Hellgate, open the door.
Okay.
Look at his axe. Nice axe,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, let me bring that up again. Yeah, that's
That was so cool.
pretty badass.
Yeah, well, it's
That is-
JR.
Ooh.
He's like a centurion or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
It's kind of
Yeah,
a different sort of looking guy for Spider-Man to fight, you know? You don't usually
Yeah,
get the
well-
like
I agree.
Well, you can only fight the Green Goblin so many times, Carrie.
So if he's like a centurion, like when the spider team went into battle, did they scream, "We are arachnids"?
No. Sometimes I swear to God, Leo, I just got to prevent you from just going straight down Dad Pun Island. Next, please.
Mahana, you'll soon learn the beats to keep from spitting out your drink when one of them does something. You'll get it.
So, moving on to the next story, ignoring that commentary. Continuing more of Godzilla versus Marvel with Godzilla versus X-Men.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for this line, guys.
So, as we talked about our last show, Godzilla is marching across the Marvel universe. We've already mentioned a Silver Age bout with the Fantastic Four, a 70s slugfest with the Hulk, and then a counter with a fresh Venom suited Spider-Man. Now Godzilla catches the attention of mutant kind with Godzilla vs. X-Men issue 1. So this will be arriving in May. So this takes place during the 90s and will be written by Fabian Nicieza, who we already know from his work on X-Men, X-Force, Deadpool.
Yes.
So we're joined by acclaimed artist Emilio Liso. So essentially, this is that time when everybody wanted a piece of the X-Men, and now so does Godzilla. So the synopsis is, this is round 4, by the way, if you're keeping track of the totals. When a robotics firm draws a kaiju's anger, the X-Men are called in to protect a world that hates and fears them from the counterattack of Godzilla, but not Godzuki. What are the reasons for Godzilla's attacks? Are the X-Men on the right side? Follow them as they take on the King of Monsters before humanity sends the Sentinels to finish the job. So not only is Fabian a fan of Godzilla, he is just thrilled to come back to that and the heyday of X-Men. So he said, combine Godzilla with the Versus and an X-Men. Well, let's just say I love the smell of burning Rider in the morning. It smells like victory. So we've seen a bunch of the covers there. The first one was by Tony Daniel. There's a foil by Mike McCone, a variant by Torrin Clark, a monster homage by Nick Bradshaw, variants by Chris Campana, Iban Coelho, even a Versus variant by Lee Garbett, and a Godzilla King of the Monsters variant by Paolo Rivera. This is on sale May 14th, and if you are a Kaiju fan rooting for the King of Monsters, do not miss this.
These are so awesome.
I'm very excited about this. As both a Marvel fan and a Godzilla fan, this is the best of both worlds.
Oh, hell yeah.
Literally, yes. 100%.
Godzilla's been like everywhere, like, you know,
But
Justice
everyone-
League and yeah.
Yeah, man.
Godzilla never really faded in popularity, though. Everybody ask anyone, people know who Godzilla is.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
but it's okay, because if I call him by his actual name, that's how I know the new fans and old fans. I'm like, oh, you mean Gojira? And they're like, ah, yes. And I'm like, yep, good. Making sure I just know what level you're on, buddy. It's not a competition, but I'm winning.
Not a competition, but I'm winning.
That cover where he was like the monster face in the forest with the mushrooms. Like, okay, have you ever played Dark Cloud 2?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
don't think
that's like the
so.
second setting where the forest is. He's the tree face that you build
Yes.
into the shops and
Totally.
stuff. Like every time when I saw that, I was just like, "Oh my god, it's Dark Cloud 2!" And it's like, no, it's totally an homage to something else. But to me, if the nostrils were a little bit bigger, it would be perfect. But it's like, yeah, I love that cover because it reminds me of one of my favorite video games. Anyway,
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, Carrie. Well, it's
You're
not
welcome
that. Now,
random commentary.
Next story, please. Yes. So, DC has announced a new all-in comic series by Joanne Starr and artist Stephen Byrne. Stephen Byrne, Fire and Ice When Hell Freezes Over, which is spinning out of the events of Absolute Power and DC All-In Special. So Fire and Ice, who, as we know from their time on Just the International, it took me a second, they're back, but they're not exactly themselves. So this is launching in April. As we've seen, the duo has accomplished what they've always wanted. They're back in the ranks of the Justice League during a world crisis, but there's a problem. After the crisis, Ice finds herself shooting off Fire, and Fire has ice crystals forming her fingertips. So This is that absolute power swap that we've seen with affecting a lot of the DC characters.
Yep.
So with their power switch, no solution, they're going to tuck tail, regroup in Smallville, where they find that not only are they would-be heroes, but now they're menaces to the communities that they've loved. So they have a plan. So essentially, they're most likely going to try to take a page, whether they have permission or not, from Zatanna's Megatrix for a quick fix during karaoke night. And as you can tell, shit goes wrong again. So the focus of this is really Fire and Ice's friendship, kind of what they're doing when they're not saving the world, and there's a lot of conflict. So it's about how strong their friendship is, how much they understand each other, and then, of course, how can they kind of fix this super-powered Freaky Friday kind of situation. And then Stephen Byrne, I've been a fan of his work for years. He is just such a great artist. I mean, look at
Literally,
the
I love that.
expression. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this will be coming out April 9th with the main cover, which is by the fantastic Terry Dodson. Variant covers by David Nakayama, who's doing that whole negative space stuff. Jeff DeCall, Kevin Wada,
No, I was just going to say, this is a total different take on a negative space.
Yeah, it's fantastic, though.
I agree.
That
But
Jeff
yeah,
DeCall cover, though, right there is like the best cover I've seen all night. Even doing Variant Watch, I'm just like, holy shit, that is
I
gorgeous.
love this cover so much.
Yeah. Listen, this looks like a great thing.
This is my favorite one.
Oh, there you go. You guys can ask for them to get that at your store. But yeah, so April 9th, everybody, check this out. Get a little fire, get a little ice. Make your spring a delight. And then I believe there's only one more story, and this is a doozy. So very excited to announce this one. So it was announced at San Diego Comic-Con last year that Joe Quesada was heading up a brand new imprint called Amazing Comics, which was created in association with Mad Cave and published house Dupois. So we now know some of the creators who are joining him on this project, and it is just such a list. So basically, Quesada was talking about how this has been on his goal since 2005. You know, he had helped rebuild Marvel, part of the Disney family. It allowed him to just play in every creative sandbox imaginable, work with some of the best talents in comics. Now he's taking everything he learned in 2+ decades at Marvel and pouring it into Amazing Comics, bringing so many of those creators. Their mission is simple: to tell great stories with stunning art and build a true community. So here are the list of creators that we've seen so far. Matt Fraction, Derek Kolstad, J. Michael Straczynski, who we last saw killing it with Dr. Doom and Rocket for Marvel. Christopher Priest, who needs no introduction, being one of the best writers of Black Panther ever. Garth Ennis, if you've seen The Boys or Preacher. Stephen Paul Judd, who's a writer on Dark Winds and the MCU Echo Show. Ethan Sachs, who is writing a ton of the Marvel comics. And yes, Carrie, I believe that's the guy who's doing the Ewok book. And a co-writer of The Haunted Girl at Image. Charles Dorfman, who is the writer-director of Barbarians and producer of Lost Daughter. Ryan Stegman, artist extraordinaire, Venom, King of Black, X-Men. Yeah. Asad Ribic, he's the artist for Marvel's Secret Wars. He's doing the art for Marvel versus Aliens. He's done Silver Surfer Requiem, X-Men, Thor. And then Ronan Tolhat, who is an artist on graphic novels, Damon, and Doghead. So a lot of the titles they're working on is secret for now. Well, we know one is the one that we just saw, Disciple, which will be co-written by Quesada and Dorfman and illustrated by Quesada with inker Wade von Graubacher, with colorist Richard Eisenoff and letterer Joe Caramanga. So, Carrie, you'd appreciate this because that story is inspired by Shakespeare's Hamlet. So it's an expansion, building a world around the original story that's passed with history, intrigue, drama, with some surprises. They're keeping all the Shakespearean names, but the story is going to take some unexpected turns.
Ooh.
So
It looks
basically, yeah. So it's going to be fantastic. So this is yet again another publishing company, independent, to spring out of the big two. And I mean, guys, what a time.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. This is going to be some dope stuff. So that is all of the news that we had for the comics.
Did we want to touch on what Justin put in the chat?
We can, but I mean, there's really not too much more to say about it. It's come to our
If you
attention
guys would
that
like to brief it, yeah, I don't actually know anything about it, but
essentially, things are looking a little rough for IDW Comics. They were already dealing with some financial issues, but there's some accumulated debt that has been highlighted due to the Diamond declaring bankruptcy. So the financial future of IDW, which currently is still holding the property for our good friend Justin Cooper's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's looking a little tough right now. So we're hoping that perhaps they'll be able to stay afloat and work their way back, but debt's debt, and comic books is merciless.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that they're having these money problems, but they've been doing really good lately with the relaunch of TMNT and also Transformers. Transformers has been selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, but the thing being is, Leo, just because it's successful doesn't mean that then there's all the times, all the previous debt still gets called into question. Someone's got to pay that bill.
Oh,
so
totally.
it's hard. But I mean, obviously, I've enjoyed quite a bit of IDW in my collection. Really hoping the best for them there. But it's kind of an unfolding situation, and hopefully we'll have good news rather than bad news.
So,
I think that's really all we can say right now, Carrie.
Yeah.
okay.
But, Carrie, we're going to let you talk because it's Kickstarter time.
It's Carrie's crowdfunding corner.
Yay!
Figure out
With a K.
something. Yes. Okay, so first off, what I showed you guys earlier, I do want to show you the whole, this is when I do these, before I just explain them, if I have any of my new crowdfunding campaigns that have come in that I've purchased, I like to show them off because you guys deserve to see why you should be sponsoring other people, funding, pledging, playing with, checking out, and doing other people's Kickstarters. So this, and Mahana got it as well, is from Joe St. Pierre's New Zodiac Pisces #1. And I got the selection that was the 9x12 headshot commission. And that came as well with the book that came autographed. And so I need to grab a couple of things out of here because it went over on stuff. So set things down. I got a new keyboard. Okay, so this is the book itself, and obviously signed there. He's got a pretty big signature. Yeah, and the pages are all nice and glossy, and it's just it's a feel good kind of thing going on. Because he reached the 6,500, well, because he reached 7,000 goal, we got little stickers and things that came out. When he reached a 6,500 goal, we got a poster that was signed that came out, and I'm jumping back and forth through stuff, but this was, I think, very, very cool.
Yes.
And also a little card. And then, as I'd mentioned before, because I bought, and we showed up, but if you're just joining us now, I got the headshot added. So I'm going to show you, he did just like, there were a couple, you could get headshots or you could do full shots. Not full shots, but full body commissions. And I also got, this is the signed one that came out from the time that was 1873 out of 3000 assigned poster.
Nice.
And then I asked him and sent him a couple of references of myself and the shade. And this is what he did for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bring
Oh,
So
it's lovely.
yeah, so I got numbered, signed, all sorts of different things. And I threw down $100 for this, but I put down $100 and I got stickers and postcards and posters and signed
Yeah,
comics
I know.
and original artwork. And it's gorgeous. So I am all about this. And we're going to take 1 second while I pack all of this away because I don't want to let anything get damaged before I go on and tell you some of the new Kickstarters that I would like you to check out. While I am doing this, however, there is still time and still space to go and check out some of the ones that I've told you about in the past over on Backer Kit. You can check out Keith Champagne's Daybreak, the complete series. There's still a couple weeks left, I believe, on that one. And doing that, you can go for the full trade paperback and a bunch of different things with that. There's also Samurai Ice and Bone by Aaron Robleski is still running on Kickstarter. So if you want to give those a check, go ahead and show some love. Even just like the minor things you can get. A lot of Robleski's has reached its ultimate tier, so you get for any sort of support a bunch of different free PDFs to check out of new comics so that you can decide whether or not you want to see them. Okay. Whether you would like to check them out or not. I need to get my screen to work. And so I'm going to open this up and close it again and see if it will let me share my screen to tell you about the new stuff that I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's this fun little thing where they try to decide, are we going to let you show this or not? Leo, you're quite familiar with this, aren't you? Okay.
Yep, totally.
Sorry about this, guys. It's sometimes StreamYard is just like, no, we don't want to share that. We're just gonna not be that guy.
Not be that guy.
So they're sharing to them. Sharing
Yeah.
is not caring.
Nope.
Yeah, they're just like, nope.
Nope.
Even though you keep opening the window, we're just not gonna share this with you. And I've got some great stuff. Grant Lankard is sharing or is doing a new Beowulf. Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay. So, Grant Lankard has got out Beowulf Grendel's Curse #1. This one is up until March 10th, so you have another 34 days to do it. It's a 30-page prequel to the acclaimed indie comic Beowulf, and this time Beowulf and his friends go up against Grendel and his mother. 4 years ago, Grant Lankard began the epic journey of Beowulf. Suburban teen Hazel is shocked when her cat Mooney opens his mouth to warn her of a dragon waking up from a 1,000-year nap. Hazel and Mooney seek out the reincarnation of the legendary warrior Beowulf. Unfortunately, he's been reincarnated as Victor, who's more unemployed 30-something than Dragon Slayer. So now, in the present day, Victor has recurring visions of his ancestor Beowulf facing off against Grendel and Grendel's mother. Now, Victor goes to his friend Mooney, the cat with magic powers, for advice. Why is Victor having these visions now? And is something trying to resurrect Grendel and his mother in a petty act of revenge? Find out by going here, checking it out, and grabbing something. What we have on for the tiers that you can choose, you can get for $9 Grendel's Curse as a PDF. You can get the standard cover for $12. The deluxe cover for $15. There will be both covers for $25 that you get 2 items in. Digital, and he actually spelled it KETCHUP tiers, $27 to get 2 items. Retailer special gets you some additional stuff. The big catch-up tiers in print are $35. And then the deluxe catch-up tier includes these comics here, which is the original Grendel in trade paperback form, the League of Cryptids, both different covers, and then also Memoirs of the Morbid, which are anthology comics that he put together. And so you can get all the way up to there that has 6 items for $59, and you just get a ton of this stuff. You can also buy all of these separately as add-ons, as well as for $5 extra, you can have him sign anything that comes up. So yeah. So I need to get that one. Am I on there? Why can't I not? Oh.
You want that
to
one because
remove
there's
that.
a zombie squirrel, right?
But,
Yes.
well, no, I have a thing where when I put something up, it suddenly freezes my screen on StreamYard, so I can't interact. So I have to like go back up. Okay, so the next one though, we have Tim Seeley's coming up on, what's the date on that one, Drew? Do you
It's
remember
in May.
offhand? Yeah, in a while, but let's see if I can get this one to pop up for us, because there's some spexiness going on in this one.
Oh yeah. Backslash.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, oh, here we go. Okay, so the Art of Hack Slash Oversized Gallery Editions is up until February 17th, so you have another 13 days to get on this. And the beautiful and rare The Art of Hack Slash Volume 1 from 2010 is being reprinted along with The Art of Hack Slash Volume 2. Now,
Amazing.
these volumes are 11 by 17 in size, 40 to 48 pages each, and contain hack slash comic book covers and pinups under both the Devil's Due Publishing and Image Comic runs. So a brief explanation, this is some of the fabulous different cover art that you can get. If you don't know what hack slash is about, at the end of every classic horror movie, one girl always survives. And in this case, Cassie Hack not only survives, but she turns the tables by hunting and destroying the horrible slashers that would harm the innocent. The same kind of slashers that tried to kill her. Alongside the gentle giant known as Vlad, the two cut a bloody path through the American landscape and through those who deserve to be put down. Hard. Hard.
Stop it.
Yeah. So Hack Slash, the comic book, debuted in 2004. It was created by Tim Seeley with Stefano Caselli and debuted in 2004 from Devil's Due Publishing, where it ran for dozens of issues until moving to Image Comics in 2010. And since then, it has seen a continuous release of comics and is now available and also collected into Legendary Omnibus Collections 1 through 6, which are available on here as add-ons as well, or if you just go to hackslash.com. So just keep showing some more prettiness here. The available rewards, you can get the Art of Hack Slash Volume 1 for $15, Volume 2 for $15, Double Trouble Digital for $27. You can get the Art of Hack Slash Volume 1 in print for $40, as well as 2 for $40. Retailer pledges are included, and then a Double Trouble Volume 1 and 2 bundle for $75 that gives you 4 different items. Additional add-ons include stickers, patches, and pinups with sign-ups for over 50 different back issues in extremely limited quantities. So here is a naughty print set that you can get. These are the stickers. Girl in the Fishnet Stockings. There are only 15 of these zines left. And you can get a really cool Vlad embroidered patch. Only 50 of them, though. Same as the sticker. For $10. So if you are a fan, this is the time for you to go out and get your hands on some really awesome merchandise from Tim Seeley and the Hack Slash. So you got another 13 days for that one. So look for it on Kickstarter. Get yourself hooked up. Get some pretties and get some sexies and get some horrors going on there with the Hack Slash.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you. I pride myself.
Is that it? Is that all of them?
That's all what I got tonight. I wanted to show off what I got and put up the 2 that we got. So I do nitpick through things, by the way, guys. I check out not just Kickstarter, I go through a bunch of different other crowdfunding things, but I try to keep it down to a couple a week. And I do, if somebody's pushing something for me, I will put it up for them. And if it's something like sexy naked girls of this, I'm probably not going to put that one up here. That one's going to get its support from its girl. But if it's a good comic book creator or an interesting comic to look into, that's the kind of thing that you're going to see me promoting here. So
Indeed. All right.
yes.
Well, thank you for that disclaimer, Kari. All right. I don't think there's anything else. So, Leo, should we wrap it up?
Yeah. Before I do, just I know I mentioned the First Steps trailer. Anybody also check out the Spider-Man new show?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I saw it. I really am enjoying it so far.
Yeah, it's really good so far. So
I was impressed. It was better. I liked that they didn't do speed feeding. We already know how it happened. It doesn't have to like spoon feed. We already know what happened, so let's get to it.
Yep.
You know.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
totally. Yeah, and it's I definitely recommend checking it out, Drew. It's the artwork's amazing. Just
I agree.
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Forget about me. You know how to find me. Information in the show notes. But check out these awesome people, and I'm losing
Leo, focus.
Leo's blue. Violet,
yeah,
you're turning
I know.
violet. Violet.
I need to get my lights up and going since I moved. Head on over to our YouTube. We've been putting a lot of stuff there. Links are in the show notes up above or down below. And we'll kick it over to Kari.
Hey everybody. I'm just manic as usual these days. Doing a lot of stuff over at Owlite, or trying to, at least. We've started back up with Uncle Necro's Tomb of the Terrible every Monday, and we are going through a list of shows that he had suggested for us before the unfortunate happenstances happened there. And we are booked through May here. So get ready to have your just socks blown off by the amount of creators that we have coming on here. It is insane. And not only do we have some insane, awesome creators, we also are going to have some insane and awesome guest hosts coming with us, just like Mahana right over here. You go to her now. I'm good.
Hey, and where do you like people following you, Mahana?
So my Instagram is the Cheery Goth on Instagram. Getting started on some more of my cosplay shenanigans. I just started work on my new Baroness cosplay. So a lot of new cosplays I'll be debuting this year. So yeah, the Cheery Goth on Instagram is the best way to really follow me.
Awesome. And Mr. Drew.
Hey everybody. How you doing? Hey there. How you doing? I'm at an angle. So thank you for joining us. This took a lot longer than we anticipated, but apparently good times have no limit. That's a lie. Good times have a limit. Okay. But thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And if you need to speak with me, Drew Mollo on Facebook, GhostBushman1984 on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky. You can just look me up there as well. I swear to God, if you do reach out to me, I will get back to you. I'm trying to be better about that, but sometimes it's just so hard because sleep is so good. And I'm getting up for this, so this is really important. Especially continuing what Kari said in terms of awesome guests. Next week, we're doing a special show because it's not going to be on Tuesday, which is going to throw some of you for a loop. It'll be on Wednesday because we have an awesome guest coming back. Mr. Cullen Bunn will be joining us. And we're going to be having some great guest hosts there. So it's going to be a really great show. So please stick around for that because it's going to be awesome. And that's it.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. So we need to end this show. Thank you, everybody. We've got to go. Bye.
There we go.
Bye.